Alright, in this video we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing fractions, which isn't difficult. Multiplying is actually very, very easy, and division is just a step harder. But the problem is that once you have multiplied or divided your fractions, you do have to simplify. So we'll do the multiplication or the division, and then we'll also do the simplifying as well. Alright, so we'll start off. You can see the numbers go down 1, 2, 3, but I'm going to do these 3 multiplication ones first, and then you can see we've got some multiplication ones down the bottom. Okay, so I'd like you to have a go at doing all the multiplication first and then the division, because the division actually requires you to have an understanding of multiplication. All right, so when we're multiplying fractions, it's much easier than adding and subtracting, because all we do is multiply the top numbers. So in this case, 1 and 5, and then 2 times 4, the bottom numbers. So here we have 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 4 is 8. And then you just got to check whether it can be simplified. No, because the highest common factor is 1. So we just leave it as 5 over 8. Have a go at the next one. All right, so 1 times 5, and then on the denominator we have 4 times 3. So we have 5 over 4 times 3 is 12. So it's 5/12. Excuse me. Okay, then the next one, you can see we're working with higher numbers here. So 10 times 11 is 110. And then 3 times 6 is 18. Now we're actually working with an improper fraction here. Okay, so that means that the numerator is bigger than the denominator, but also we have to simplify it. Okay, so we have to simplify it before we turn it into a mixed number. Now when we've got such high numbers like this, the easiest way to do it, instead of sitting there thinking, oh, what is a what's the highest common factor, we can just say, right, well, I know these are both even numbers, so we can simplify that to 55. Okay, so if I just halve 110 is 55, and halve 18, and I get 9. Now you got to see whether there's any numbers that go into 55 and 9. There isn't. So then we have to find the mixed number, because this is an improper fraction. So how many 9s go into 55? Now I know 6 9s are 54, so it's going to be 6 with 1 remainder. Okay, so 6 and 1 9, so quite a tricky one there. Now let's skip and do question 13. So I'm going to clear everything we've got here and scroll up so we can see the other questions. Okay, I'm skipping to 13 because it's our next multiplication. All right, so this one here, we've got 14 and 7, 9 and 10. So 14 times 7 on top and 9 times 10 on the bottom. Now this is going to be quite tricky because you probably can't do 14 times 7 in your head, but if you don't have a calculator, or I say you're not allowed to use one, we can just do some long multiplication on the side. So let's do 14 times 7. Okay, so 4 times 7 is 28. 1 times 7 is 7, so there we go, 98. So it's 98 on 90. And that's an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So how many 90s go into 98? We have 1, and how many remaining? 8. 8 over 90. Now, that actually simplifies a little bit further because these have a common factor And because 8 and 90 are both even numbers, I knew that straight away. So I'm just going to halve this, okay, instead of thinking about all the factors. So we've got 8 and 45. Okay, so this simplifies down to 1 and 4 over 45. Now, I would be absolutely ecstatic if you got to this point here. I'd be very happy if you got to here, and I would be extremely proud of you for getting to this final answer. Okay, so good, better, best. Okay, let's just clear that because there's a bit of working there. All right, see if you can do question 9. So question 9 isn't as complicated. Okay, so 1 times 20 is 20. 3 times 9 is 27. And there's no common factor in there. I'm just checking. No. Okay, let's try 14. So this time I've got 15 times 7. So just like we did before, if you need to, you can do 15 times 7 on the side as long multiplication. So 5 times 7 is 35. It's about to write 3 there. And put the 3 up there. 1 times 7 is 7 plus 3 is 10. So we have 105. And then 8 times 6 is 48. Oh, can that simplify any further? God, you're testing my ability. I do though know that 48 goes into 105. So let's do that first. It goes in 2 times, because 2 times 48 is 96. So that means we have 96, 9 remaining. 9 over 48. And does 9 go into 48? No. Does 3 go into 48? Yes. Okay, so 3 is common to 9 and 48, so we're going to have 2 and 3 over, testing my memory, 16. 2 over 16. Now the good thing is we have the answers here, so we can just check. Okay, there we go. Got it right. It's always nice. Nice to know when you get to the end whether you're right or not. Okay. Which one were we doing? This one here. Okay. So one last one for multiplication. Okay, we'll do that one as well, or you can pause it and have a go. Okay, 13 times 14. Oh my gosh. Let's do that over here. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4, and then add 5. Okay, and then 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. So we've got 182. And then on the denominator we have 77. Okay, tricky one again. If you got that improper fraction, well done. But we can take it a step further and say how many times does 77 go into 182? So this is where I'm going to do it over here. I'm guessing it goes in twice. Okay, so let's just do 77 times 2 over here. Okay, so we get 154. Okay, so it does go in twice. 2. And then the remaining. So to work out your remainder, this is where it gets quite tricky. We're going to have 182 minus 154. Okay, so that's going to be 28. And I know that 7 goes into 28 and 77, so it's 11 and 4. Oh, let's check the answer because I feel like I may have made a mistake. Let's just check question 10. 2 and 4 11s, well done. Okay, so once you've done the multiplication, and if you need more practice, just pause it here. You're at just over the 10-minute mark, and then come back and do the division. But we're going to do the division now. But if you want to practice more multiplication, go to another sheet, practice the multiplication, and then come back and do the division. All right, your division is very, very similar to multiplication in the sense, I'm just going to scroll down, in that we take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So what I mean by reciprocal is we just flip the fraction. So we keep the first fraction the same, and then we flip the second one. So instead of being 8 over 11, it becomes 11. Oops. And I made a mistake there. That should have, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll just rewrite it. 1 over 6, I should have done multiplication. And then we flip this one, 11 over 8. Okay, so our division sign changes to a multiplication sign, and then we flip. We take the reciprocal of the second fraction. And now we can do 1 times 11, which is 11. And then 6 times 8, which is 48. And that is as simple as it's going to get. Okay, we can't simplify it any further. All right, let's do the next one. 11 over 2. And then we flip this, so it becomes 2 over 1. 11 times 2 is 22. 2 times 1 is 2. So your final answer is 11. Half divided by a half. Write your first fraction, and then the second one we flip. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. So your final answer is 1. And when you think about this, is asking, oh, I feel like I've made a mistake. A half divided by a half. Remember, I've said in a previous video, when your numerator is the same as your denominator, so what we can do here is this is the same as saying, and we don't usually write fractions on fractions, a half over a half. Numerator is the same as your denominator, we have 1. Okay, have a go at the next 3. Oh, remember we've already done 13. So we're going to do 3, 8, and 4, just to confuse you. Okay, so you can pause here, have a go, or you can keep watching if you need to. Okay, so we've got 1 over 13, 1 over 3 multiplied by 9 over 13. 1 times 9 is 9. 3 times 13 is 39. And I think that can be simplified further. Okay, so 9 divided by 3, then 13. 9 divided by 3 is 13. So we're left with 3 over 13. Question 8, 4 over 3 times 12 over 11. 4 times 12 is 48 over 33. We have a mixed number here, so we need to, an improper fraction, so we need to turn it into a mixed number. So 133 goes into 48, and then we're left with 15 remaining. Okay, so good if you get to the improper fraction, even better if you get to the mixed number, and we can't, oh yes, we can simplify that further. So 3 goes into 15 and 33, so we're left with 5 over 11. All right, next one, 13 over 4 times 2 over 1. 13 times 2 is 26 over 4. Now that does simplify. How many 4s go into 26? There's 6 and 2 remaining, which is 2 over 4. And that can simplify to 6.5. Okay, let's go down and do the last two. So we're going to do question 5 and 15. So we have, all right, 17 over 6 times 5 over 3. Oh, 17 times 5. Let's do that on the side. Whoops. There we go. 7 5s are 35. Did that before, didn't I? 1 times 5 is 8. So we've got 85. On 18. Now, we can simplify that. All right, how many 18s go into 85? So this is going to be tricky. So it might be a good idea to think about the multiples of 18 if you like. So just another way of doing it. So we have 18, then the next one is going to be 36, then the next one is 54, and then 72. Okay, so we can't go any further. So that means we got four lots of 18, and the remainder is 13 over 18. Okay, I'm just going to check whether that's right. Question 5. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm exactly like you, checking my answers. All right, question 15, very last one. 3 over 2 times 4 over 9, so that becomes 9 over 4. 3 times 9 is 27. 4 times 2 is 8. And how many 8s go into 24? We have 3 and 3 remaining. Okay, so can be quite straightforward. The tricky part with this, I think, would be converting the improper fraction to the mixed number. So as long as you can get to the improper fraction, that's fantastic. But then if you can take it a step further and leave it as a mixed number, because you really should be writing your answer as a mixed number, that's really good. That's a really good skill to have. Okay, well done.